Hello and welcome to Opening Arguments, the podcast and sometimes YouTube show that breaks down the law in the news. I'm Thomas. That over there is real-life attorney Matt Cameron. How you doing?
Hey, Thomas. Just spent my whole day in immigration court, in asylum hearings, and ready to talk about the asylum system once again.
Wow.
Got a big one for you.
That must be really uplifting and encouraging work that you do.
It can be, yeah. But not today so much.
Not sitting in the court all day, right? Isn't it?
No. I mean, it's my job. I like it. But what's always funny to me is when people say that the system is broken, because we often mean very different things, as we're going to learn in today's cover story from the National Review about why it is broken. Got to break this one down.
Yes, and not joining us is Lydia. She's off this week. I told Matt I could just like bring in just like a still image. And just be like Lydia's kind of laughing at our jokes all the time. But I felt it does get creepy after a while. But maybe if we say something really funny, maybe I'll cut to that.
Maybe we can earn a Lydia.
So would we rather have that or would we rather just have, just you and I? We'll go with this for now, but it's always an option.
And
all right. Well, what are we going to be talking about today in a little more detail?
Well, for everybody who's still here after finding out that Lydia won't be with us.
I'm looking at the number. It's nobody.
It's all right. I get it. We've got an amused douche. It's actually a little longer than usual just because we don't have Lydia with us. One of our favorite douches, Tim Pool. We've had a lot of fun with Tim Pool over the years. But he did one of those surrounded videos, which are kind of a guilty pleasure of mine. They're pretty dumb.
He's pretty dumb. Them, and also, yes, I will watch them sometimes.
Yeah, can't help it. He also says
they're not good. They're not good.
No, it's all just for getting 30-second clips out of it. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's he says some really extra stupid things. There are worse things for sure. And he does get owned quite a lot, so it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
But
it's amazing. The people where I'm like, why did you agree to this?
Totally.
There's some people where like, just, you must have a really high opinion of yourself.
The very best part of the whole video is how they bill him, which I'll save that for when we play it. But it's pretty funny. So it's a little longer than the usual amused douche, but it's Tim Pool. We got to give him a minute. And then I've got this piece from the National Review from the baseball crank, Dan McLaughlin, who we've read before on this show. The baseball crank would be familiar to anybody who was on Twitter like in the lefty 90s, or 90s, 2000s, I don't know. It feels like the 90s.
Any time travelers who were on Twitter in the 90s?
That's right.
Yeah, huge. I've checked the numbers. Time traveler demographic is huge for us. So
Twitter during the Clinton years, that would have been something.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it just would have ushered in the destruction of everything faster, I think social media, we just would have gotten there sooner.
Yeah, he would have been impeached for all those people he killed, probably, by that point. We all remember the Clinton body count. Yeah. So but this piece, I had to pick it because, first of all, this is my backyard that the baseball crank is working in. I can't talk to him about baseball, but if he's going to come in my backyard and talk about asylum, I'm going to have to show you that pretty much everything he says in this piece is wrong, or just badly sourced, or completely wrong. So we'll have some fun with that.
And that's so weird, because I go to baseball people for my immigration info.
That's right.
So I, for one, feel duped.
Yeah, it's just
my money back.
Love me some baseball crank. It's been a little minute since we talked about the baseball crank. So, and it's a long one. It's the cover story for the National Review this week. And I just feel like, the National Review being the flagship of conservative media, this is what they choose to put on the cover. And if they're going to talk about immigration, I just think, let's just do what this show does best and just go straight for the National Review.
Straight for the juggler.
That's right. For the juggler.
Go for the juggler. It's the best. I'm excited for that. We can spend even more time on the douche while Lydia's not here. She'll appreciate that we spared her. Tim Pool is a weird one, man. That is, I don't know what's going on with that guy.
I know less than I thought I did after watching, because his favorite debate tactic is just to agree with you, which is pretty funny. I do like that. He's just like, I agree with that, with no matter what you say, and then he'll explain why he doesn't. But I don't think he really believes anything after.
Why or how would anyone watch him? That's the part I don't get. There's better grifters, there's better right-wing people, there's better, that's what I don't get. We're gonna dig into it with a nice long amuse douche. Oh, I want to say, Lot Awful Movies is out. Criminal Law was the name of the movie. Oh my gosh. It was fun. Go to patreon.com/law, pledge that $2 level and above to get your hands on Lot Awful Movies. It is Kevin Bacon. It is Gary Oldman. It is 1988, and it is bad. And so what more could you want?
What it absolutely is not is Boston, even though it is purports to be set in Boston. No Boston.
Set in Boston.
0 Boston.
Filmed in Canada, which is fine, but also no one acted like they were in Boston at all, which is
in the least.
If I had to choose between overacting that you're in Boston and underacting, I'll take underacting, I guess. But yeah, you should probably go for like the right amount of in Boston.
I mean, just give me like one shot of Faneuil Hall and I would have shut up about it. But no, nothing.
Yeah, but that was super fun. Check that out. And speaking of, we're going to take our first break. We're going to thank our Hall of Famers, our all-time greats, patreon.com/law. They get the shout out each and every vapid response. And they're avoiding the ads. They're getting the goodies. And they're making the show happen. So this show brought to you by Help. I'm trapped in a Patreon shout out. Rebecca, Bewitched, Beclowned, Bewildered. My house is a mess, but I read a lot of books. Griff the Tired 2L, Matthew Cutler, autistic streamer, twitch.tv/MTC_streams. A propensity for jokers. What was that from? That was like, what was that? It was like jokers. And oh man, that was something. I don't remember now. I need Lydia for this. Yeah. Oh, hold on. Let me go back to Lydia. Lydia, what was that? What was, no, she doesn't know. Okay. I tried.
She's thinking about something else. It's
yeah. She's just too busy laughing at all our good jokes. Gary the Seagull. In Jurum imus nocti et consumum igni. I still don't know what. Okay. It's a palindrome of some kind. Whatever.
In Latin.
Unremarkable. Amina. Donna Treadaway, Mother of Herodins. Mike Lipinski. If we don't build the Torment Nexus, someone else will. Yeah. It's a great tweet or whatever that is. Cyanitis. Not yet 40. Grape, rub it in. Gray preponderance of the evidence. Last train to Skinksville. Jar is prune dance. That's not one. What is that then? Jar is prune dance.
Sounds like jurisprudence, but
okay, it's just fun with jurisprudence. But it reads. I'm so in what's a face palindrome territory that I'm just like my mind is looking for palindromes. But jar is prune dance. Okay. Apprentice of Adventure and Charlie Kelly, attorney at Bird Law. Thanks to our first third there. And we're going to take our break and we'll get into it. All right, Matt, why are we looking at this extremely weird guy who does not uncover his head? Look, whatever is going on with your head or hair, it's fine. No, I won't judge you, but I do judge why you always wearing that weird beanie all the time. That's
truly
weird.
A hat for all seasons.
I'm already hot looking at it.
I know. Every time.
One thing, I guess I'm in California, but what's going on with this extremely weird guy?
Well, this, of course, is Tim Pool, who we had an entire episode about how he is probably a Russian asset, or at least knowingly allowed himself to become a Russian asset. And what was he getting paid, like $30,000 an episode or more? It was more than that.
I don't know. Was he
some
really?
Ridiculous amount of money. Him and Dave Rubin and Lauren Chen and the rest of them.
You better hope those Russians don't ever want their money back.
Yeah.
Seriously, what are you getting out of this guy? Like what?
Yeah.
There's better propagandists, you know?
And also those indictments, which we'll talk again about it at some point, I'm sure, but they're just kind of suspended. They're just not, I mean, obviously
that's right. Because that's been a while, right? So was that under Biden that happened?
Yeah. And they let Lauren Chen come back in. She was in Canada. She basically lost her visa and had to go to Canada. Now she's back in and nobody really knows how.
Oh, yeah. Because when it's that kind of person who's, a criminal or whatever, possibly that's an immigrant, then it's fine.
Yeah, right.
If you're here to do Russian propaganda, you can stay.
That's right. She's our type. So this is, I think that anybody listening to this show probably has some idea about Tim Pool or could picture him or will recognize the beanie when they see it. But this is from the Surrounded series, which, as we were saying before the break, kind of a guilty pleasure. It's pretty stupid. I mean, it's just for clicks. It's for clips, obviously. But it's also a great chance to watch idiots say stupid things. And of course, Surrounded, for people not familiar, the format is basically you just put one person in the middle of like a group of 20 people, and then they just come and fire questions at them. And kind of this weird round robin. And
when it's Jordan Peterson, he's like mad that you're there for some reason. Gosh, if you watch that one, I've never seen a crankier guy. He was so upset. It's like, dude, you did this. You're what? He acted like it was thrust upon him or something. It was very weird.
Yeah, I will say Pool, to his credit, for the most part, is pretty polite at everybody, but for what that's worth.
Well, okay, I've only seen the headlines. Did he leave or something? Did he crash out?
He did get pretty miffed. I don't think we need to watch that part, but somebody called him a grifter, and he just got real mad about it because, he's a grifter. That's what happens. Yeah. Hit dog and all that. Did you notice the title of this video, Thomas?
The title of the video or this claim one here?
Oh, no, the title of the video, I think, is...
The title of the video, I just see Tim Pool versus 20 progressives. That's
one of the titles, and the way they bill this is that Tim Pool is a moderate against 20 progressives.
So that's an error.
As soon as I saw that, I had to watch it because, when it's...
Look, I'm a moderate Russian propagandist. There's there's more strident ones.
Yeah, I'm a fiscal liberal, and Ukraine is our biggest enemy.
Ukraine is like our third biggest enemy. I'm a moderate.
That's right. That's right.
There's some Nazis there, we should bomb half of it, moderate.
Not even an exaggeration, by the way. He did, just for everybody. I know you know that, but he did actually say something to that effect, that Ukraine's one of our greatest enemies.
Well, that's what was so funny about, as much as Dave Rubin's an idiot, it does sound like he has business sense. And he was like, oh, okay, I'm going to get paid to do Russian propaganda. Well, I'll just do my stupid Dave Rubin thing and cash a check, is what it seemed like he did. Whereas this idiot was like, sure, tell me what to say. It seems like to me. That's my interpretation. But he did give those stock lines that were word for word Russian propaganda. So I feel like he did the job.
And I think he was told to play a moderate to some degree on this because, he's being skeptical of Trump to some degree somewhat. But he also loves Trump. He's saying that he understands that it's bad for ICE to shoot people, but also, as we're going to see, he loves it when ICE shoots people. He's going to actually say that. So
nuance.
The thrust of this for an hour and 40 minutes is something that isn't really debatable because it's very much requires. I mean, it is debatable, I guess, but no, it's not really debatable. It's about whether or not the left commits more violence than the right, or whether inherently.
Yeah. So let me read this claim 1 for listeners. This is claim 1. The mainstream, and this is what I'm really interested in. He decided to say, the mainstream left commits more violence than the mainstream right.
Yeah.
Which is if anything, the stupid claim that is smarter to make is the extreme left. Because then at least you can say, you can point to some people, Luigi Mangione, who's not a left, it's not particularly leftist.
I think Amy Klobuchar threw a stapler at somebody once, if you want mainstream left dangerousness. But the mainstream right is, as we're going to be talking about in this video, of course, neo-Nazis, among other things, at this point, open white supremacists.
But what's the mainstream left? What is he even going to say? Well, I guess maybe he'll tell us. I don't know.
But what I loved, the reason I had to pick this quick clip is because of the way he characterizes the different kinds of violence that arise between the two sides.
Oh,
listen close.
It's going to be language policing.
This is pretty funny.
All right.
Claim is that the mainstream left commits more violence than the mainstream right.
If you'd like to be the first debater, get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Sammy, how's it going? Hey.
Great to meet you, buddy. How you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good.
There seems to be a broader implication with your prompt that there's this domestic threat from mainstream left politicians. Do you really think Hillary Clinton's leading the Vanguard Revolution Party?
No.
What is your take?
When you look at the violence that we do see, it's from I describe it as from blunt to acute, which is with the fringe extreme right, you'll see extreme mass shootings. You'll see someone will show up and they'll unload on people, things like that. On the left, though, you'll see riots, vandalism that you don't see from the right. But
the extreme right, there's mass shootings and threats of mass shootings, and on the extreme left, there's vandalism and also unruly groups of people. So that's just sort of from the beginning. He's sort of stuck in that. Also, he has to dance around January 6th a lot because you just can't really avoid the fact that, the mainstream right, actually, the Donald Trump supporting mainstream right showed up and tried to do a coup.
Yeah.
So that doesn't make it easy. This is the first thing he's saying in this video is that the extreme right commits mass shootings and the extreme left commits vandalism. It really sets the tone.
There is more often an overlap between what the Democratic Party espouses ideologically and what we see in street-level violence, as well as maybe assassinations, what the Republicans would espouse.
I mean, I couldn't disagree more. What ideologies that the Democratic Party is promoting that leads to these types of violence? Anytime you see an act of violence that's typically attributed to the left, it is immediately condemned by every Democrat politician.
Indeed.
You couldn't point to one that actually endorses that. Or you have somebody like Donald Trump, who's literally the president of the United States, saying that we should call for the death of congressional members who are fulfilling their civic duty and saying, hey, maybe you shouldn't fulfill illegal orders if you're in the military, and Donald Trump's asking for them to be put to death. How is that not inciting to violence?
No, that's absolutely terrifying. I completely disagree with that. My point more so is that when you see, say, the George Floyd or the BLM riots, you end up...
Okay, cool.
Yep, there's one thing. That's what we're going to come back to.
Agrees with everything. Oh, yeah, yes. No, totally, yeah.
That's bad, but also BLM. Great question here about where the neo-Nazis are.
Let me explain. The Republican Party rejects neo-Nazism, correct?
No, Donald Trump invited Nick Fuentes to have dinner with him, with Kanye West.
So tell me one politician who went out and campaigned for the neo-Nazi vote.
I'm blanking on his name, but Gozar and
is that a
and
mainstream
Arizona.
view in this country?
Well, we could talk about Gozar. We could talk about Matt Gaetz. We could talk about
Matt Gaetz is not endorsing neo-Nazism, and Donald Trump
Are
said
you kidding me?
Nazis should be condemned entirely.
No, he is literally partnering with the America First movement. He was
America
chosen
First and neo-Nazism are totally different.
Bro, so you don't think do you think Nick Fuentes is a neo-Nazi? I forgot you've had him on your show. Oh my God, I literally forget.
I wouldn't describe Nick Fuentes as a neo-Nazi.
You don't think that Nick Fuentes celebrating Adolf Hitler is not neo-Nazi adjacent?
I think you have to be very specific on what your terms are. And so when you go to an American voter and say something like...
This is our moderate, by the way, everybody. This is our moderate.
Indeed.
That's the best one.
So when you go to a regular American and ask them what is meaningful to them in terms of an election, you don't have Democrats or Republicans endorsing violence. But you also don't have, Charlie Kirk's a good example. He threw out Nick Fuentes, he threw out white identitarians, white nationalists from his events. They were not welcome. That's mainstream. You don't have riots coming from the Republican Party and the right, although you do have January 6th and things like that. When you take a look at the shootings of the Tesla facilities, the execution of Aaron Danielson, the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and one of the attempted assassinations on Donald Trump, not the Pennsylvania one, you can see the underlying ideologies overlap with the Democratic Party. When you take a look at like Nick Fuentes, he's opposed to the Republican Party. He's been actively endorsing Democrats right now.
He's been saying that the Republican Party is too left for him. It's not that he's opposed to the Republican Party in principle.
This is literally my point.
No,
Nick Fuentes comes out and says, do not vote for Trump. The mainstream Republican Party is at odds with these people.
No.
Don't vote for Trump because we need someone more right-wing. Oh, boy. Yeah. Cool.
But this was the part that really kind of took my breath when he said this thing that you're about to hear about what people voted for and why ICE violence is fine.
Because whenever there's violence, they don't condemn it. They condone it, they congratulate it, and they pardon it.
Law enforcement, duly elected by a population that voted in plurality for ICE to go out and engage in these
kill
behaviors.
American citizens?
Which sometimes, yes, absolutely. And
they voted for ICE to kill American citizens, really?
Yes. Do you?
The average Republican, I don't think they're that crazy.
Who said the average Republican would vote? But do you not believe that there are people in this country that would vote for ICE to harm people?
Is this your argument?
Do you believe?
This is terrible, Tim.
So you think not a single person in this country
now
wants
we got
to harm
not a
illegal
single
immigrants?
person.
We're talking about the fact that there is a top-down approach by Republicans like Donald Trump.
Can I ask you the question again?
Can you answer the question? And allow it to happen, foment violence in this country.
Can you answer
and
the
you're running
question?
cover for it.
Actually, you just did.
No, I didn't.
See, I'm pointing out
ICE violence. You're saying that people vote for it or whatever.
You don't think that there are white supremacists voting for ICE to go and harm migrants?
Are you saying that white supremacists voted for Donald Trump so they could kill migrants?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good to know that white supremacists make up part of the Republican Party and Donald Trump's doing their bidding.
Yes, I certainly believe they do.
Okay.
The initial claim that I'm making is that there is absolutely violence on the right. I already agree with one of the previous debaters that there's institutional violence from the right as well. The best argument against my claim actually is that the right, when they get levers of power, will use law enforcement as their vehicle for the violence that they want to engage in. Those things are all fair.
That's
my
incredible.
point is that we are not
That's
seeing...
a nice, long, drawn-out concession. Thank you for...
But it's not a concession because maybe we agree.
Oh, okay.
See, I think...
Well, didn't you say the modern political left commits more violence than modern political right? So now you're saying
just because there are riots coming from the left.
Did you hear what he, because I do not want to let this point go. He said that the right, when they get levers of power, use law enforcement to commit violence for them. Mm-hmm. That's the thing that he said. So the mainstream right, in fact, would be way more violent if you're including all police officers, which I'm willing to, happy to do that, Tim. I can concede that. Yeah. But what an amazing statement. And also saying that that's not fascist somehow, to elect people to do violence for you.
I don't think there's anything coherent he's saying, honestly.
No, he contradicts himself every 30 seconds in this thing.
Can we as a society move on? And maybe the answer is probably no, but this mode of argument where you go like, I don't think people voted for Trump to use ICE to kill people. And then he's like, you don't think people... No, I don't really think that's what they had in mind. You don't think there's a single person who voted for Trump? Like, that's obviously not what the fuck anyone means. These logic bros do this thing where they try to reduce it down to some like absurd... Oh, there's not one? There's not one? This guy thinks there's not one person. It's like, that's not the claim, and it's stupid. And you're trying to make a dumb gotcha that is nothing. Like,
what are you proving?
Those tools that they have, they're worthless and stupid and pathetic, really.
Well, only if you listen to them.
Yeah, we should stop.
That's what we're doing. Yeah.
It used to be big in like the 2010s. I thought that's like a Gamergate era arguing. But no, still big in some places. All right, we should take our second break. and then we'll get on to the main stuff. But I've got to, of course, thank our amazing patrons. Starting with our middle third here, thanks to Probably a Real Person, Nick Fish. Geez, can a guy go to Africa? New name next week. Okay, must have been so not a new name. Did I make fun of someone for that? I don't know. A Negative Phenomenon. Okay, hold on. Before I continue, I must confess, you got to fight for your right to ex parte. Jay Sank, Vehicular Man's Laughter. That's it. That's the joke. My job is just beach this week. Oh, okay. Nice.
Enjoy.
Two Taint Todd goes to the Senate. David Souther. Today's episode is brought to you by the letter nothing. Thomas Freeman. Cavalry. Cajun Killa. Fraud Fishy Hates Everything. Chris Simpson. Worst Timeline Ever. Anonymous Aquila. And check out GalenaComic.com for a cool web comic. Thanks again, top patrons at patreon.com/law. We'll take a break and we'll get to the National Review. All right, Matt, try as we might, we couldn't find a non-paywalled version of this, so we're forced to have a big old subscribe now banner. And as you zoom, it gets bigger, so I can't. We could have it take up the whole thing and just be one sentence, or we could zoom out and not be able to see the words. So I'm going to find a midpoint here, but what am I looking at?
First of all, just try to resist the siren's call to hit that subscribe button. I know how much you want to subscribe to the National Review.
I know. I can't believe I must have lapsed or something. It's crazy.
Yeah. So this is, of course, Dan McLaughlin, the baseball crank. One of the unfortunate byproducts of 9/11, actually. Weird story. Butterfly effect thing here with 9/11. His law office was destroyed in 9/11, I just learned the other day. So he turned to political writing after his law office was destroyed.
Oh, God. Is he just like forever Islamophobic because of that or something?
Probably. Maybe he was already born that way. But he's just,
I need to point out the art. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, good.
The artwork on this article is so bad. It is so racist. So the artwork for the listener is like a what? Like a Captain America-esque shield that's like the United States flag, but then it's like broken at the bottom and it's giant, by the way. So then some miniature people, which by the way, they're not even like sinister looking people. They're just like, they look like people you'd be like, geez, we need to help those people. So refugees of some kind are just walking in through the crack in the shield of America, which is like, that's incredible. That's an incredible bastardization of so many things. This shield symbolizing America's great power. What America's great power is to these people is the power to tell refugees to fuck off. Like, that's the power we have. And now, oh no, there's a crack in our armor. And now we're not telling refugees to fuck off as much.
Also,
we are.
The artist went a little nuts, and the whole thing is full of cracks. Like, it's not a good look. It's end of empire kind of art here. Like,
exactly. Well, you see, again, it's America's asylum system, which is again just a big shield. Yeah. Why would that be? Like our asylum system is broken is the title. So our asylum system was just keeping people out. That was
right.
That's what asylum means, like keeping people out.
What it means for these people, yeah.
God, so bad.
Dan McLaughlin, remember, of course, is much like Tim Pool, a moderate. Yeah. Except he actually is. I mean, he's like what passes for moderate these days. He's one of the senior writers of the National Review. Prides himself on being one of these, just asking questions, don't totally support Trump. But of course, he's going to support Trump's immigration policies pretty much wholeheartedly in here, as they all do. I really wanted to pick this one apart because, we read a lot of things that are wrong, but this is like systemically, overwhelmingly, sentence by sentence, point by point wrong. This is cover story, National Review, Dan McLaughlin. And again, broken asylum system means different things to different people, as we will find out. So let's get to it.
All right, Lydia, go ahead and read. Ah, damn it. All right, so how to make our humanitarian immigration policies serve national interests.
So you're going to want to go ahead and eliminate the word humanitarian. I think that's the first problem. That's what he's going to tell us here.
What humanitarian immigration policies? Where are those? 404 not found. American immigration policy should serve the interests of America and Americans. Yeah, okay. That sounds obvious. It ought to be the starting point rather than the end of debates. When is that the end of debates?
It's always the starting point.
Yeah. I mean, basically all policies are kind of some way or another. I also think, can we do stuff that's also good for anyone else? Are we able to? Is that not allowed? That's not. Sorry, I've committed a faux pas, Matt. It is no longer. It's so rude of me to suggest that the United States do something not out of just self-interest. That's how far we've gone. It pretty much. That is like, oh my God, this guy. That's so 2014.
I mean, don't know if you heard, but the agency that did that got a chainsaw taken to it by Elon Musk. So.
Ridiculous. After all, one can build the case for many different immigration policies from that premise. maybe we need immigrants to compensate for declining birth rates.
Literally, yes. Literally, if we closed our borders right now, we would be in with the situation Japan is in pretty soon.
Or maybe our workers already face too much competition for jobs.
Not for the jobs that he's going to be talking about, no.
Maybe immigrants bring valuable skills. Oh, this is a point counterpoint kind of thing. Maybe immigrants bring valuable skills, driving perspective. Or
no, could be that one.
Point counterpoint. Or maybe we already have too many poorly assimilated foreign-born residents.
There's a lot of stuff you can't fact check here.
Yeah. How do we evaluate that? Is that true? I don't know. Each case can proceed from the premise that what matters is what benefits the country and the people already in it. Okay, that's nothing. But this is not the premise of two major areas of our immigration law as they exist today. Asylum and refugee law and temporary protected status. This is a little bit like a lifeguard being like, I think my policy of swimming out and saving people should really just be like, it should benefit me. Like, let's start there, benefit me. And so I'm going to do that. But like, am I always going to do that? What if it's like just to save someone? Like how does that help me? I don't even understand.
What have these swimmers done for me recently?
Yeah, like I like the part where I sit and get a tan. That part's good. But then there's times where there's people like annoyingly drowning and then they expect me to like get up, get wet and stuff. Like, I'm not doing that. America first, man. It's like, what are you talking? Why would you say that asylum and refugee law? For one, I think it benefits us to be good people and a good country. Like, again, I'm so sorry to be from the fucking 1700s, apparently, or something. I don't even know what time it is. Or even like, the zeros or the negative 1000s or the whenever, I forget when the great, philosophers were, but the virtue ethics type thing where it's like, to be a good person, you try to do good things. Like, I think that applies as a country. To be a good country, you do good things. That benefits you. It benefits you to be a good country. It makes people happy. Why would you not want to do that? So to think of asylum and refugee law through the like, what have they done for me lately lens?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. As if there's no benefit whatsoever from these people to us, when in fact, demonstrably, I just want to say, like, studies have shown that people who come as refugees give back like no other immigrants. People who are granted asylum status almost universally do better than most because they know what they're coming from. And they do have that extra. I mean, and that's my experience as well. I mean, again, this is a broad generalization, but there's a lot to it.
You're 100% right. But even if they were completely a burden, right. I still would be like, well, yeah. Like when you rescue someone, you're not going to be the lifeguard and go out and then the person drowning is going to like help you. You have to help them. That's right. I mean, okay.
Counterpoint, VR1, the gumballs. Do not forget that if you let enough gumballs, the gumballs will fall on the floor.
Right. Yeah.
You've already forgotten from last year.
Oh, boy. So this is already just stupid and racist and selfish. Each is grounded in humanitarian concern for the interests of potential immigrants with little thought for American interests.
These things I made up are not grounded properly.
Again, asylum and refugee law. That's the point of it. Am I crazy, Matt? Like, was anyone under the impression that we were doing those because it helps us? I mean, it probably ultimately does, but like, still, I just thought we would want to help people. Is that a stupid thought?
No, I mean, a lot of it certainly came out of the post-World War II framework where we realized that we had really failed to protect people that were sent to death camps.
Famously, there was a whole ship of Jewish people that we turned away, many of whom died.
And his message here is going to be, again, not never again. It's going to be again. It's going to be happening again.
Yeah, what did that ship full of Jewish refugees offer us, though, man?
Yeah, exactly.
What are they going to do for us?
Yeah, unclear.
Psychopath shit. Okay. Each functions in ways disconnected from how it was designed and written in law. Each should be rethought and either reformed or abolished.
So his main thinking here is that there should be more executive discretion, you'll find out, over everything, which is pretty much how the whole system is being run and why it's so bad right now.
You're saying this guy's a moderate, and I believe you. I feel like he's not like MAGA, right?
No.
So the moderate position is like, hey, what are those refugees? That's if that doesn't serve us, let's just get rid of that whole thing where we... Isn't that, by the way, isn't there like international law about that? Isn't that?
There's quite a lot. He's going to get into that too, about why it shouldn't apply to us and why it doesn't actually. He's wrong about that, of course. But, and also, like the entire story we've told ourselves about America until like, a couple of years ago, 10 years ago, maybe, let's throw that out the window.
The Statue of Liberty said like, get the fuck out of here with your poor and you're tired and you're whatever. Fuck off with you're tired and you're hungry and go kill yourself, you fucking losers. I think it's something like that, right? That's the story.
As Stephen Miller said, a poem is not a policy. So Stop quoting it.
Unbelievable. Okay. Humanitarian concepts such as asylum, refugees, and temporary protected status did not exist in American law before the Second World War.
Great point.
Is that...
With you there. Okay. That's a correct statement.
All right. Permissive rules before 1924 made us a haven for people fleeing revolution, war, tyranny, and persecution.
It's more that we just didn't really have any rules, but sure. You want to call them permissive? That's fine.
Sure. But there were no special dispensations. So we didn't need special dispensations before we put heavy restrictions on stuff, right? Okay. The Irish and the Swedes fled famine. Germans fled failed revolutions. Russian Jews fled pogroms. But nobody asked them why they came here, much less to prove it in court. Okay, where's he going with this?
Also, I want to point out that they did actually, so there was briefly, I think in the 1917 Act, there was an exemption to the literacy requirement if you were suffering religious persecution. We did actually recognize it that early. But,
yeah, I mean, we
were
factually religious. We've been pretty religious this whole time. I think we usually like.
And that was actually George Washington's original example of asylum was the Dutch who were fleeing religious persecution. Like he thought we should protect them.
I also want to say, like, aren't these the people that you always say are like, well, they did it right, and they're my, great grandparents, and they're great. Like, so maybe we should go back to that when we just let people come
the
over.
Most permissive rule we've ever had. Yeah, when we didn't have to worry about asylum because they just get to come here.
The 1924 immigration law for the first time imposed strict numerical caps and national origin quotas.
So that's lazy because the national origin quotas were introduced in 1921, but I guess he doesn't know that. They were solidified in 24, but they began in 21. And he's not really going to talk too much about where the whole national origin quotas came from because why would you want to mention that? It's not great.
I can't believe a baseball guy didn't get that nuance. What is his job? Like, what was his, I mean, it's like haver of dumb opinions, but.
Yeah.
Did he have any qualifications or anything, or just was
he
a
was
blogger?
A lawyer a long time ago. I think he met Clarence Thomas once. I don't know. But
that's less than nothing.
Yeah.
When the targets of Nazi persecution, especially European Jews, were turned back from our shores with nowhere else to go, America's restrictive laws suddenly seemed a mockery of the nation's promises.
So at the time, too, I want to point out, obviously, the ship that we mentioned, at the system that we had at the time, it was basically case-by-case discretionary parole, which is something that he seems to be suggesting we should go back to, which is very strange. I'm not really sure what he's ultimately arguing for, but maybe we can piece it out.
Oh, boy. The humanitarian urge can be tempting.
Resist the urge.
God, this is just pure psychopath shit, man.
My son, sometimes you're going to find yourself sitting alone. Wishing that you could feed the poor,
feed the hungry,
clothe the naked. Don't do it. Resist.
My mind just went to like, imagine you and I are two robots with the mission to kill everybody, and we're just sitting here like, man, I don't know, this kind of seems bad sometimes. And you're like, whoa, the humanitarian urge will be tempting, but remember our program. Like, what? The humanitarian urge can be tempting. What a weird fucking thing to say, man. Oh my God. You might as well go. He's going to launch. The next thing he says is like, but let them die to decrease the surplus population, right? It's like the Ebenezer Scrooge quote after that. God.
I'm going to say that whatever rehab he went to cured him, I think, pretty much of the temptations.
We are, after all, still a largely Christian nation with a biblical sense of duty to all neighbors. Oh, yeah, that's why all the humanitarianism is coming out of the right, the Christian right now. That's why.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Just the overwhelming Christianity.
That's where just the minimal semblance of humanitarianism is coming from. It's that little dying ember of it. It's coming from the religious right. And we want to get rid of that. The Emma Lazarus poem, give me your tired, your poor, etc., is deep in our national DNA. The scandal of turning people back to the Holocaust still nags at our conscience. We are rich and free, they are poor and unfree. Why shouldn't we welcome the stranger and share our blessings? And
great, okay, thanks,
article. Dan. Yeah, let's call it there.
Yeah.
The first problem is that this logic has no limit. Oh, fuck off, just fuck off so fucking hard. Just fuck off so hard, man. The first problem is that this logic has no limiting principle. Hey, Matt, when I see like a baby drowning, I'm like, well, okay, am I supposed to save every baby? Well, a million babies. I gotta solve all. What's the limiting principle? I'm not doing
Billions.
it. Fuck
Billions
you.
Of babies in the world. That's right.
That's your first thought. It has no limiting principle. Okay, fucking yeah. Okay, okay. True story. I was just going to make a joke that is actually the next sentence in his article. I swear to God, I started to make the joke and then I glanced and saw it. The world holds 8.3 billion people. Yeah, what if they all came? What if they all came? We can't let any of them, Matt, because what if they all, plus, what if there's aliens? And they come? No limiting principle. So fuck everybody.
Also, I know he doesn't know anything about asylum law, but asylum law is the limiting principle. Like, it is extremely limiting. It doesn't just allow everybody to come here. So if you're arguing that should be set up, it's already here.
God. The United States is the 0.3.
Okay.
Kind of a weird...
Probably not quite accurate.
Matt, I know I'm going to lose you on this one, but that's a weird numbers thing to say. The world holds 8.3 billion people, and the United States is the 0.3. Yeah, we're like
the appendix of the population.
We're specifically allocated to be the final 300 million. It's just weird. We can't take in everyone whose life would be improved by coming here. Oh, okay. I can't save every baby drowning everywhere, Matt. I can't do it. So this one right in front of me that I pushed into a body of water, why would I save that one? That the CIA pushed into a body of water using my tax dollars? And once you accept that even a generous immigration system must turn away most supplicants, we're back where we began. How do we choose? Why not choose those who make the best Americans?
We're just doing the gumballs again, folks. It's just the gumballs.
Jesus Christ, dude. The second problem is political. Resentment of immigrants is neither new nor likely to go away.
Not as long as I'm around, Don McLaughlin.
The second problem is people who write this article, and I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, that's right.
Humanitarian policies that disregard the interests of the host country and its people are almost perfectly calculated to exacerbate those tensions. And it's nothing to do with the constant propaganda that fuels reactionaries designed to make us all mad so that we forget that we're voting in the interest of billionaires. Nothing to do with that.
Coordinated campaign of proto-fascism to make us blame people who are much worse off than we are. That's right.
It's easier to sell immigration as a pie-expanding boon to the economy than as a moral duty to give away what we have.
Yeah, generally I can sell it as the first one because nobody says it's the second one. Where it's not a moral duty to give away what we have. It's not a potluck. Like, we're not... Okay.
I also don't even, I'm not even sure that's true. We don't know. Have we tried lately? Has anyone tried making the case? I mean, again, maybe I'm an idiot, Matt. You can say. Has anyone tried, hey, maybe we should be nice to people? Has anyone tried that? Or is it just constant demagoguery and hate and whatever? I think sometimes people actually, it's a weird thing where, incentives are weird for people. And sometimes they do actually respond to more of a moral pressure than, a financial pressure. Just kind of depends on the situation.
But he's not even going to consider the possibility that it is a pie expanding exercise because that's what it is. It does make the pie bigger. That's how it works.
It does. It certainly does. Yeah, it's how could you think it doesn't? Because the rest of the world has more people and there's more money out there. Where did that come from? You know what I mean? People equals money eventually, economy.
And the people coming are overwhelmingly young and healthy and ready to work. And that's what's happening. So it's hard to argue against it.
It's easier to make the case for assimilation when we're not giving preference and priority to immigrants from the most dysfunctional countries.
I promise we're not, Dan. Yeah. I promise we're not doing that.
It's also the worst possible introduction of our values for arrivals. What? Introduction to our values for arrivals. Oh, to compete in narratives of victimization. Oh, wow. Okay. I was so confused by that sentence because I couldn't predict, once again, the psychopath nature of it. It's also the worst possible introduction to our values for arrivals to compete in narratives of victimization rather than show what they can achieve and contribute.
Yep, we put them in the Hunger Games of victimization. God. Fight it out. That's right.
We're inviting all these people whose families have been killed and are certainly facing death and torture in their countries. We're just inviting them to complain. They're just grousing, tired of it. Why don't you say what you can do?
Plus, you're not going to out-complain Americans.
Matt, literally, don't the forms require you to say why you're... They have to do that, don't they? You have to say why you're in danger if you go back home, right?
Yeah, pretty explicitly and in detail and to a legal standard that he'll ignore later. But
okay. Sorry, I interrupted you. You
I was just going to say, he as established in this piece, nobody's going to out-complain Americans. Native-born Americans are very good at complaining, so don't even try. Just go home if that's what you're here for.
Yeah, I think it's your victim narrative, baseball man. That's you're the one who's competing in narratives of victimization, especially when it's the people who are also here and safe are taking away from me. Given constitutional birthright, U.S. citizenship for the children of all temporary visitors, a rule almost unique in the world.
Almost is doing a lot of work there.
Yeah.
He's also seemed to posit in the sense that every immigrant coming here is pregnant. if you read the rest of the sentence.
Oh, yeah. Each arrival is a generations long proposition. Hey, man, now this just in. This guy thinks men can give birth.
Yeah.
I'll just go at it from that angle. Look at this asshole who likes trans people, apparently. I don't know. I'm just trying stuff. Yeah. Refugee and asylum law grew from the post-World War II world amid the... Didn't we do this already? Okay. Amid the massive displacements of the largest war in human history. The 1951 UN Convention relating to the status of refugees was, like so many government initiatives, an ad hoc response to a temporary emergency that was then it's weird to call like World War II like a temporary, I mean, I guess, but...
Well, the crisis after the migrant. I mean, it was a massive displacement throughout Europe, but...
Yeah.
But yeah.
But I just feel like it's like a bigger thing than that, you know? Like the bigotry, the generational bigotry and hatred and stuff and like forces that led to that conflict. It's not like that just goes away once you end the war part.
It wasn't a hurricane.
Yeah. It wasn't like an earthquake or something. The convention's definition of refugees focused on the Nazi dominions and was time limited to people displaced before 1951. It aimed to prevent people from being sent back to countries where they would be persecuted or killed by the government for political reasons. The U.S. didn't sign it.
So this is an extreme technicality. Yes, they didn't sign it in 1951, but we signed the 1958 convention that incorporated the protocols. We have been bound by the definition of what refugee is, which again is somebody who's fears persecution in their home country based on race, religion, national origin, political opinion, and membership in a particular social group, which he's going to complain about quite a lot later. Not necessarily about this thing with the Nazi dominion. Yes, there were provisions, obviously, for the displaced people of Europe, like to specifically deal with that issue. But it was thinking ahead. They were absolutely thinking ahead in a flexible way to try to figure out how we're going to deal with these problems in the future.
While mass immigration always had its critics, the post-war politics of the issue were heavily shaped by the Cold War, which produced an elite consensus that for many years was broadly popular. We were waging ideological war within Western civilization. Like Nazism, communism was a European creation that argued for a better way to organize advanced Western societies. The losers abroad could join our side here to continue the fight. What? I don't even understand what
they could escape communism and come and love capitalism. And again, he's going from this position that like the only reason we did asylum law was to look good during the Cold War, to bring in refugees, to, you know, show those communists.
And now that that's over, we don't give a shit about looking good anymore. Fuck that.
No.
Why would we care?
Just pull the mask off. Let's do it. Yep.
Many political refugees shared America's cultural premises. Soviet bloc refugees were often the most pro-liberty, pro-democracy people in their societies. Communist persecution, blah, 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 blah. I can't skip through this. I'm just deciding. Whatever. Nixon argued that every wave of refugees that has come to the United States has strengthened America rather than weakened it. So people as selfless and compassionate as Richard Nixon also disagree with this asshole, it sounds like.
Yes. Yes, they did. Also, he's not going to mention, you know, again, this was done by parole authority, right? It's case by case, or I mean, it was usually like mass parole, right? But parole is technically case by case. And the reason that we switched over to the asylum system is because it's way more efficient to actually be able to look at this stuff instead of trying to get a whole boatload of people and, you know, one at a time decide which boatloads of people come in. Like we can actually have a system and a systematized approach to all of it. And he's making it sound like the Soviet bloc refugees are the only refugees we took in during that time. But of course, the Hungarians, for example, that displaced people, were disproportionately young. They were people without income or experience or couldn't speak English. The Mariel boat lift, very famously in 1980, was the single largest influx of people from a communist country that we ever took in. And it made no demonstrable difference. And there's multiple studies on this. Yeah, that's right. Well, they went country. They all went to Miami, and so Miami thrived.
Famously, you know, Florida's communist as they come now. Goes blue every election. Never causes any trouble for us electorally. We need to sneak in a third break. When should we do that? Should we do that now? Or?
Yeah, how far are we? We're about...
Who knows? But why don't we sneak in our third break? We got to take a break from reading Psycho-Pass. You know, like our Lot Awful movies, if I stare too close into the abyss, I'm going to become the robot psychopath that is this fucking asshole. I hope this doesn't represent the moderate American, you know, because that's depressing.
I think it might.
You know who's not just the moderate American? Our patrons, our top patrons especially. These folks are the best. Thank you to Bob Blah Blah's Law Podcast. E.T. Philly Basement Bar says we should take off and nuke the site from orbit. It's the only way to be sure. Elect Thomas Smith President, American Honky Tonk Bar Association. Baltic Philip Kaiser. The court is now in session. The Honorable Judge, Jury, and Executioner. That's so stupid. The judge's name is Jury and initial N, Executioner presiding.
That's pretty good.
The Honorable Judge, Jury, and Executioner. So stupid. Corin Land, a string of unpronounceable characters. Malika Chandler, David in Brooklyn, RonToTheDork.com. Milo Meadsong argues the plural form of footnote, kind of like attorneys general, should be notes feetsies. I think you should say notes feet. I stand by that. Chris Waltrip, Big Easy Blasphemy, hors d'oeuvres in the court before a report. Sam Denau, Fred R. Grothius, Classic Libtard, and Mitchell. Congratulations for being our top patrons. We love you so much. Again, patreon.com/law. Avoid the ads and get Law Awful Movies. We'll take a break and we'll finish off with this psychopath. Okay, Matt, when we last left our psychopath, he was explaining how Nixon is far more compassionate than he is.
Yeah, I don't know what the Nixon goal thing is supposed to prove, because Nixon certainly didn't agree with what he's saying here in that quarter generally. So not sure why that's in there.
Bad argument. Taking in communism's victims wasn't just charity, it was foreign policy. So this is great. So his whole thing, and by his I mean this asshole, the psychopath thing is that like we need to only do stuff that's good for us. And for some reason back then, it was good for us. And he tries to make the special pleading case of like, well, because of the Cold War and whatever. But that's not what the Nixon quote says.
Every wave.
Yeah, every wave of refugees ever that has come to the United States has strengthened America rather than weakened it. And then he's like, see, it's only when it's good for us, but not now, somehow. Nixon would be rolling over in his grave.
Yeah.
The 1965 Hart-Celler Act abolished the 1924 national origin quotas and greatly expanded immigration.
Yes, that was their first mistake, abolishing national origins quotas based explicitly on race and bad race science.
Yet refugee and asylum law intended to ameliorate pre-1965 conditions was enacted after that. What is that? What does that mean? What's the function of that in the argument, I guess?
It wasn't intended to ameliorate pre-1965. I mean, it was supposed to just set the standard for how we do asylum forever. Like that was the point for the world. After World War II, the next time we have a major cataclysm, we try to figure out how we're going to work on refugees and asylees. He's got a lot of presumptions here that I don't understand where they're coming from, and they're not based on my understanding of immigration history or policy history.
What the fuck would you know?
What would I know?
What do you?
I've just read a lot of books and taught it a bunch, but you know.
Just because you listen to opening arguments, do you think you know what you're talking about?
Yeah.
A 1967 UN protocol unmoored the 1951 UN convention from its context.
No, it concretized it. It made it official. It systematized the asylum system as we know it. And every country who's a member of the UN pretty much has signed off on how they handle this stuff under the same standards.
Its expanded definitions were incorporated in the Carter-era Refugee Act of 1980. Refugee or asylum status is granted to anyone, quote, unable or unwilling to return, end quote, to his home country because of a well-founded fear of persecution on account of race, religion, nationality, membership in a particular social group, or political opinion. At the time, as the bill's title attests, refugees located abroad were the focus, while asylum, for those who reach our borders, was an afterthought.
I don't think that's true. I don't know where he's getting that or where that would be in the congressional record, but the definition he just gave is the UN definition that had been around for decades before that, so I don't even know what he's talking about.
Well, I think he's saying because it would be convenient to my psycho argument, let's just say.
Yeah, let's say that. Let's say it's about refugees.
Let's just assume.
And he's going to say some things that are, okay, well, yeah, keep going. This is amazing.
Refugees are capped annually at the president's discretion. That reflects the grounding. Wow, really? The president gets to do that?
Congress is supposed to consult on those refugee caps.
God, that's right. We've kind of talked about that, huh? Because, I feel like it would just be zero for all of Trump's terms, but that reflects the grounding of refugee law in foreign policy judgment, but it allows wild swings. In 1980-81, nearly 300,000 refugees were accepted from Asia, largely Vietnamese boat people. Sounds weird to say, but okay.
That's what they called them.
Okay. And refugees from Cambodia's genocide.
Hey, why do you think we took in so many people in 1980 from Vietnam?
Cambodia, yeah.
Yeah. And so again, and the reason, by the way, like besides the obvious that we had just destroyed these regions, is that we had this huge backlog of parole because we're using this parole system, which is completely outdated. We should have been using the refugee system. And so, yeah, a whole bunch came in at once because we were catching up on the backlog.
Is that the thing we've talked about where you showed us the old documents and it was like this would take 1,000 million years to...
Oh, that was the national origins quotas. That was the race-based for the visas. So this is, I should be very clear, the refugee asylum system is completely separate from the visa system. And the refugee system is managed by the UN. Asylum system is managed by immigration authorities here in the U.S. when you get here, if you are not granted refugee status ahead of time. And also the Vietnamese boat people and Cambodians, and I've worked with quite a number of, we have a very large Cambodian community here. I've worked with quite a few of them here. Again, doesn't really help his argument. I mean, again, they're great and they've contributed a lot to this country, but these are not the people that, like he's saying, would advance national interests. I mean, these again were war refugees, right? They're coming from desperate circumstances.
Yeah. You know, I just realized I worked with someone, now that I think about it, who literally had a story. She had a story of getting out of Vietnam on a boat. So that must be exactly what it was. She's probably...
A lot of that going on.
She's probably got to be 60 now. Is that somewhere in the right?
That would be about right. Yeah. And a lot of them had to live in Cambodia for a couple of years. I've got quite a number of clients who are citizens of other countries that were born in Thailand or Cambodia. To the extent that I understand what he's even saying at all, I think he's trying to say that the president should have way more control and that we should stop using the asylum system that was set up by the UN. But if you're going to do that, then you're going to get to the last sentence of this paragraph. And he does not mention the problem here.
Donald Trump cut the cap to 30,000 in the last pre-COVID year of his first term. Joe Biden tripled that by 2024.
By restoring it, yes.
Yeah, right. Now Trump accepts only Afrikaners, white Southern Africans, who made up all but 3 of the more than 6,600 refugees accepted in the past 6 months.
No further comment. Those are the refugees we're taking now. And that is true, that the refugee system is now pretty much right now white South Africans. It's a joke. It's turned the whole thing on its head. And he has nothing to say about it.
Yeah, it's also pretty fucking weird to say more than 6,600. Why would you say more than? It's just weird. I don't know. Just fucking bullshit. By contrast, asylum claimants can theoretically be unlimited in number.
It's true.
Presidents indirectly influence the process by interpreting the law that immigration officers and executive branch immigration judges follow, as well as by dictating who can stay in the country while cases are pending.
So I would dispute that because the president has complete authority over the immigration court system, hires and fires the judges, sets the Board of Immigration Appeals, which is now completely stacked with very, very Trumpy people. And the attorney general can pick up any given immigration court case and snatch it out of the system and decide on it and make it precedential, which they've been doing. Yeah. So as he's going to talk about later, you can basically rewrite asylum law at the executive level. I really don't know what he's trying to say here. But it's true that there's no
right to do the psychopath behavior that he wants. Is that all it is?
See, he's saying the president doesn't have enough power over immigration.
Doesn't have
exactly right.
I thought
That's what he's saying in this paragraph.
He has enough power.
No, he's saying he doesn't.
Oh,
and he's also saying that the asylum system, and this is true, there is no cap on asylum, because that wouldn't really make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
That when you get here, if you apply for asylum and you receive it, then that's it.
Right. There's no cap on how many people can apply? Is that what he's saying? Like,
no, can receive it.
Oh, okay. I thought he said.
But he's saying the president doesn't have enough power. They indirectly influence the president.
Claimants can theoretically be unlimited.
That's also true.
Yeah.
They certainly can be.
Well, that's what he said.
Claimants of any kind can be unlimited in number
like,
to any program. Right.
Okay. As well as by dictating who can stay in the country while cases are pending, Trump's Remain in Mexico policy required applicants at the border to wait outside until asylum was granted.
Not exactly, but sure. Let's not even get into that.
And wasn't that also like against international law or whatever? Like, isn't that?
It also requires Mexico to participate, which they're no longer wanting to do. So, yeah.
In practice, the system is a farce. Every immigration lawyer. Oh, this is about you, Matt.
Yeah.
Here, let me know. This is about you. Every immigration lawyer and advocacy group knows how to advise people to game the system.
Yeah, I guess I do know how to do that. I don't. But
does that mean that you can get anyone in?
Yeah. Remember Trump said that, you just have to say the magic words. And that lawyers just tell people, I claim asylum. That was what Trump said the magic words are. Works every time. That's what I get the big bucks for.
Oh, boy. Yeah. Designed to address government persecution on the model of the Holocaust, the law isn't limited to state persecution. It includes threats to a particular social group, a term added offhand by a Swedish UN representative in 1951 that courts have struggled to define.
Okay, this is an amazing sentence. So first of all, particular social group is an expression that goes way back, as he says, to 51. And the purpose of it was to keep things flexible. And they intentionally, this wasn't some offhand thing. This was a decision made by the UN at that time to say, look, we can't actually anticipate what all the possible threats might be and all the different reasons people might be persecuted. Yeah. And it turns out it really worked out that way because at the time, people weren't necessarily thinking, for example, of your sexuality as something that you would receive asylum for. But now a particular social group can include gender and sexuality.
I'm pretty sure if there was a country that was like, hey, we're just going to start killing all Star Trek fans. And we're just fucking killing them. Yeah. You'd want to be able to say like, oh, okay, well I guess we got to let in some Star Trek fans. I don't know.
Get some good scientists out of it.
Sounds like the Star Wars fans have gone nuts in that country. Taking things way too seriously.
And saying that the courts have struggled to define it, That's not true either. I mean,
but he's got some good authority for this, man. Hold on, let me read the next sentence.
True. That's true.
As then Judge Samuel Alito complained in 1993, and his word is gospel, the phrase is almost completely open-ended. Virtually any set, including more than one person, could be described as a particular social group. I guess.
I don't think that was true under 93 law. It's certainly not true now. The particular social group analysis has been extremely limited by, social visibility and like how much people would recognize you as part of that group. It can't just be that
that's also
it's some guys hanging out in the corner.
Not true. Like, okay, my grandma and then like some guy dressed as Santa Claus. What's the group that is? I don't, like just anything that's more than one person. I don't, that seems hard actually. It doesn't.
I know it sounds like it's a bridge club, but it's not a bridge club. It's really not your particular social group.
Weird. Many asylum seekers claim threats from criminal gangs. Well, maybe that's because there's a lot of threats from criminal gangs. The Obama and Biden administrations even extended asylum to include victims of domestic violence.
Can you believe it?
Yeah, can you believe it?
Wow. To people the government wouldn't protect from domestic violence.
Hey, I wonder what this guy's opinion on honor killings is. I bet ask him on a different topic. He'll be like, and those Muslims, they do honor killings and whatever. I'm sure he would be against all that then. But then in this voice where you're like, they even extended asylum to people who might be victims of domestic violence.
Well, you might want to finish the sentence.
Oh, God. Did I do it again? In cases where foreign governments don't police it. Oh, fucking Jesus. I swear to God, I haven't read this ahead of time. This is how we do this. Yep. Parentheses, and they do not in much of the third world, especially Muslim countries. Jesus Christ. I swear to God, I did not.
You're just in the baseball crank's head.
I just know how these fucking idiots think.
Most of the domestic violence claims which have been granted historically, back when that was a ground, and it is no longer, unfortunately, a direct ground for asylum, back when it was not from Muslim countries. It was from the Western Hemisphere, from Central America mostly.
That makes sense. I mean,
again, it's not just any domestic violence, which I'd love to protect everybody, but it's from countries where if you go to the police, they will laugh you off or they'll protect your husband, right? And there are countries like that.
No U.S. foreign policy interest is advanced by this. Fuck you, asshole. God.
By protecting people.
Yeah. Was it not good to be... Aren't you the ones who like America? I find myself in a weird position, Matt, and I know you felt this too, where you're like, hey, actually, I mean, like, there was some good stuff about America. Where you're like, us being looked at as the shining city on the hill to the extent it was true. The part where we did let in the tired and the poor and the hungry, the whatever, that at least was good, right? Like and imagine if we only did that. Like, that would be cool. If that was the thing we were known for, wouldn't the world be like, man, that's a cool country. We like them. Let's do business with them. Let's like their stuff and buy their products and like their culture and use their money and speak their language. Like, isn't that good? Isn't that all good stuff?
You're going America first on me.
Yeah. I mean, crazy town here. Like, right? I mean, okay.
Yeah, with you.
It seems to be calculated to import the class of immigrants most likely to end up on public assistance. Realistically, women halfway across the planet who need to flee their husbands likely have closer places to go than here?
He's making up a bunch of women now. Yeah, I don't think that fleeing from El Salvador to, Texas is halfway across the planet, but how do I know?
Yeah, also, like, wasn't that a very short-lived thing? Wasn't it? Or, like, how many people have made it here on a domestic violence asylum claim? Is that a big group of people?
Well, they said it when they get here, but no, and it was active. Like, that was an option for maybe 10 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, on and off. So, like, yeah.
Well, how big of a group of people could that possibly fucking be?
I love the idea that we sat down and calculated which groups of people would be most likely to be on public assistance. Let's make sure that we protect those. No, it's people that desperately need it, that are not being protected by their governments. That's the point of asylum.
And it really does come down to, if your theory of the world is that there are good people and bad people, and I'm not saying it's by skin color, but you're saying it's by skin color, then maybe that makes some kind of sense where you're like, don't let in the bad ones. But if your worldview is more like mine, which is like, I think largely poverty and all that is like often a product of circumstance. And, it has a lot more to do with like societal factors, all kinds of things, political factors. Has your country been ruined by the United States? Has it been, whatever, a bunch of factors. And therefore that people who might be in desperate circumstances in one place might thrive in another place, right?
Yeah,
absolutely. That's what I think.
That's how it's supposed to work. That's what we've always said.
All that might be forgiven if we only let in people who qualified under the law, but asylum seekers have exploited these ambiguities to file vast numbers of claims that must be adjudicated one at a time, choking the system by sheer volume. The abuse screams from the data. Since 2016, under 3 different presidents, only 13.2% of asylum claims have been granted. That's 26.9% have been denied, and another 18.7% have been abandoned or withdrawn. Even under Biden, more were denied than granted. Yeah.
What? That's not an argument against asylum. And also, I couldn't find those numbers. I don't know. Those aren't the track numbers where I get my numbers. But I've always hated this argument against asylum. The fact that there is a lower grant rate, that doesn't mean that there are people who deserve asylum, that you scrap the system. That's not how it works.
Also could be a product of our low limits, right? If they don't want to let people in.
It's more about the high standards that we're setting, which, for the law is just getting harder and harder to win. But it's not even, but these are about people already here who are applying for asylum. So there's no limits. If they qualify, they qualify.
Oh, so sorry, maybe I don't know how that works. So if they're already here, and so that grants them the more status. I'm sorry, I'm just so bad at this.
Oh, no, just to be very clear, because this is a pretty common thing. So refugees are people who are abroad, who are able to go through the UN system, and that's where the caps come in. People who are here, who've crossed the border or otherwise come on a visa or just here on student visas or whatever, can apply for asylum. And there's no limit on that.
Okay.
On the claims
and so,
or the approvals.
Right. So so the standards are really high because xenophobia mostly. But still, it's like, this reminds me of when they would say, oh my God, Biden has an open border. And the thing they would point to was a headline that's like, Biden turned down a zillion people from the border. You know what I mean? It would be like, the stat would be like, look at how many people Biden refused at the border. And they'd be like, look at this, open borders. And you're like, no, it's the opposite of what it means. Like if only 13.2% of asylum claims are granted, which he's making that up apparently, but whatever, if it's low, doesn't that mean the system's working in his mind?
Yeah.
Right? Like, if you're going to make this argument that there's abuse of this system, wouldn't you be like, look, 100% of claims are granted.
Right.
That means you just get over and you say, I declare asylum, see, and then you're in. It's the opposite to say like, look, it's abused. Only one person ever gets it. It's like, that doesn't make any sense.
Also, if you look at it from the other side, as I do, when we talk about the system being broken, obviously Dan McLaughlin and I mean very different things, because I think that if you have a system where, let's just assume, just for the sake of this conversation, that pretty much everybody who files an asylum application is actually to some degree afraid to return home, right? Mm-hmm. Even if it's not for reasons the law will recognize. Mm-hmm. So you've got a whole bunch of people who are afraid to return home, and 13.2% of those people get to stay. That might be a problem too. Maybe we have set the law incorrectly. Maybe it is not cut up. So maybe I can agree to some degree that some of this is broken.
Yeah, and like Matt, I don't want to attack you, but notice that those percentages do not add up to anywhere near 100%. So is the rest, are they outstanding? Does that mean they're not looked at in the time frame, maybe, or something?
There are big backlogs, and there are big backlogs in the immigration court because the Trump administration has done everything possible to make immigration court the standard. Like
I think I'm asking, is there another category that he's leaving out that things
pending,
could be?
I think would be the other pending.
Yeah, well, that's what. Yeah. So I'm saying, other than that, I guess, is there another category? So the point being that there's so many, they're barely getting through any. They're only letting a tiny percent in, and yet that's the argument that the system's being abused.
Right, is that there's so many pending.
Doesn't make any sense. Even under Biden, more were denied than granted. Oh, okay. So even under communist Biden, which is what you people think, even then, more were denied than granted. So it sounds like there's not an abuse of the system, and there's pretty tight containment on it. And even Democrats don't let in more than they deny.
Not seeing how that helps your argument.
Am I in crazy town? Yeah, he's just making the opposite of his argument. Okay. Those numbers understate the issue. Annual applications surged from 65,000 in... I wonder if there's going to be anything to explain this, Matt. 65,000 2016 to 2016-19 to 230,000 in 2022 through 2025. That could only just be abuse, right? There's no reasons like in the world that more people would have needed to apply for asylum, right?
Or the fact that we completely basically did actually not shut the border, but that we turned away asylum seekers based on shaky COVID grounds, way past the point at which the rest of the society was open. That's why he doesn't, notice 20 to 21 are missing there.
Yeah.
A lot of people tried to come after that.
The backlog of cases spiked from 411,000 in 2016 to 2.35 million in mid-2026. 2/3 of the overall backlog. Oh, I skipped a little bit. The share adjudicated dropped from 57.8% to 32.2%. So your argument is too much paperwork. Is that his argument? There's too much paperwork, damn it.
Yeah. Okay. And as I said, like the backlog is very much created by this administration. And I will point out that a lot of people now that TPS is ending have no choice but to file for asylum because they're still afraid to go back to Haiti. Right. They're still afraid to go back to the other countries we're terminating. And you're forcing them into the asylum system essentially when TPS was a very efficient way to protect them.
The thing he would want to be saying is like, and they were all granted and that's why it's so abusive. But no, like you're just saying they're either denied or not looked at yet. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Asshole. Put another way, for every person granted asylum under the law since the start of 2022, there are 30 more immigration cases in the pipeline, 20 of which are asylum claims. Asylum appeals, nearly all of them meritless. What?
He's reviewed them all.
Where does he get that? Nearly all of them meritless swamp federal appeals courts, where they are often the largest category of appeals, slowing down the rest of the justice system.
There has been quite an increase, despite a lot of efforts to try to keep them out of the appeals courts. There have been, because the Board of Immigration Appeals is essentially rubber stamping the immigration courts. And now, with the end of Chevron deference, the appeals courts can actually not necessarily agree with the BIA right away. So, some benefit there.
All right. Well, one last paragraph here. We got,
Oh, there's more.
Oh, I thought that was the end. Damn it. If they can get into the country or reach the border under a democratic president, fuck you. Claimants stay here while their cases sit dormant in the system, often for years, rarely with legal merit. The point is to file, not to win.
Sure.
Yeah, and you're going to just uproot your whole life on the promise of like, if I file, then no one will notice and I'll live here forever. That's a thing people would do who have other options. TPS likewise evolved from Cold War initiatives, although it was codified by Congress only in 1990. Between 1960 and 1989, presidents designated the nationals of 15 countries who were already in the U.S. for extended voluntary departure, entitling them to remain indefinitely during a war, natural disaster, or other temporary emergency. Again, the idea was that the dispensation would be temporary, but the inch once given, fuck you. The inch once given became endless miles. Who fucking died and gave you the country, dude? Oh, I gave them an inch of my land. And now they're coming. Fuck you, dude. You're just born here of not your own choice. Asshole. Yeah. God. I can't imagine feeling that level of like arrogance over something you didn't earn at all. What gives you the right? Somalia has been on this list for 35 years. El Salvador and Haiti.
Do you think they've been on the list for 35 years, Dan?
El Salvador and Haiti designated because of earthquakes in 2001, 2010. Yeah, and they're probably faking those earthquakes is the spirit.
And also Haiti was fine after the earthquake as established, right? Nothing wrong now. So
they have stayed ever since. When will safe, stable governance return to Somalia, which has had little of it for millennia, or Haiti, which has been either unstable or tyrannized for most of its 235 years of independence?
Tyrannized by the Americas. Americans. Yeah. But also like he's undercutting his own point again because he's like, well, they've been on the list for so long. Why do we keep giving them TPS? And he's like, well, of course their countries, are not safe to return to, but we shouldn't give them TPS. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, okay, if you're not safe for a little bit, fine. But if you're going to die, if you go back to your country for too long, then like, fucking, that's your fault,
Yeah. We got a last call.
Why haven't you fixed your own government yet? Person who's going to be killed by your own government? Maybe for a month or something, but years, come on.
Don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
As Justice Clarence Thomas noted.
This is our favorite. Our favorite example from the TPS case from Mullen v. Doe. You're going to remember this one.
Noted Archley, I think would be Archley. In a recent case on Trump's terminating TPS for Haiti and Syria, the program is national origin discrimination. Dominicans who share in, oh my God. Yeah.
Remember this?
Yep. Oh, I sure do, Matt. I never forget something this stupid. Dominicans who share an island with Haitians don't share the same immigration benefits that flow from Haiti's instability.
Yep. We treat different countries differently. Based in different circumstances.
To this day, do not understand what the fuck this point might be.
It's not a point. It's a Clarence Thomas mic drop. And it's a concurrence, by the way, also. It's not even the majority opinion. So he's just citing it because he likes it.
Well, it's because he noted Archley. Yeah, unlike asylum, TPS is not grounds for admission. It's a bar to the removal of some individuals, even if they are here illegally. The only people eligible for TPS are those who were already in the U.S. at a time when the designation for their country was made. But this can be gamed. Really? This can be gamed especially by people from places with poor record keeping, which includes nearly all the qualifying countries. Numbers tell the tale. We're back to this. By 2025, 1.3 million people were in the U.S. on TPS, 935,000 of them from 2 countries, Venezuela and Haiti, and 322,000 from 3 or more. Aren't we again making the opposite of your point? Because like, if this was easily exploitable, wouldn't you expect that like all the world was taking advantage of it? Not like,
it's not that many people.
Like if it was like easily exploitable versus what it actually is sometimes countries are going through acute problems. Then you would expect it to just be a few countries, which is what he's saying, right?
Right.
So he's not even okay. Outside of the U.S. decapitation of the Venezuelan regime, only Ukraine's troubles have any end in sight.
Do they?
Oh. Set aside what to do with people already here. What American interest is served by letting anybody into the country via asylum or as refugees, or by keeping anyone here under TPS? You don't have to want an immigration system that is biased against Somalis or Haitians or Syrians to want one that isn't systematically biased in their favor.
It's not biased in their favor. I absolutely promise you that. TPS is for, you don't want to be in a situation where you're eligible for TPS. That is not a good thing. Like your country is in bad shape if you're eligible for TPS. Nobody should want that. They're not gaming the system. And also, I just want to point out, TPS for Haiti officially ended on August 4th. TPS for El Salvador is supposed to end on September 9th. This is like a slow-moving immigration pandemic. Like, it's going to be bad. We're going to have a lot of people losing their work permits. We're already starting to see it with employers asking us, well, why can't my person still, we've got personal care assistance.
They'll be here and not contributing at all.
That's
whereas they could have been.
Suddenly eligible for public benefits. Yeah. The thing he says that they're already doing when they've already been working way too much.
What public benefits? Just like ERs?
I mean, maybe some state benefits, not really. But also we're talking about personal care assistants. We're talking about nurses. We're talking about construction workers, roofers, like people that are doing hard work that can't work anymore because of a Trump policy that didn't need to happen.
Ohio Governor Mike DeWine, for example, complains that terminating TPS for Haitians will deprive his state of in-home healthcare work. Oh, Matt, you did it.
Yeah, just said that.
In-home healthcare workers, many of whom are doubtless also faithful churchgoers. What the fuck is the point of that?
They do one of the hardest jobs on earth, but also they go to church, so they're probably okay.
Wait, is that sarcastic? I
don't even know why he's throwing that in.
Doubtless also faithful churchgoers.
Having been to Haitian churches, I can tell you there are a lot of faithful churchgoers.
But that is incidental. Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if he's being sarcastic, or I guess he's acknowledging like, all right, there are some good people here. Is that what he's going for? But that is incidental to these programs' purpose, and we can get the same, I don't know. We can get the same or better results by other admission criteria. TPS systematically prefers people from the most dysfunctional societies of the third world who maintain TPS designation for decades precisely because their homelands lack civic institutions. Yeah, why haven't they fixed that by now? By keeping them, we are selecting for the people least likely to be assimilated into the American creed. Why?
Why
would you think
incredible. Think about what he was just saying half a page up when he's talking about the Hungarians and the Indo-Chinese, right, and the Vietnamese boat people and the Cambodians. Yeah. All these people, wave after wave of refugees. Right? No, by his standards, by his admissibility criteria, all those people at TPS today, he'd be very mad about it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like he used them as the good example, but there's functionally no reason.
There's actually less screening for the parole system the way it was set up than there is now. Like with the TPS, you have to renew it every 18 months with a background check. That was not a thing back then.
I love how he just hand waves. I'm truly baffled by what he was getting at there, but he hand waves the like, they're going to lose a bunch of in-home care workers. And then he just doesn't. Wouldn't you have an answer for that? Don't you want to have an answer for that?
Shouldn't you maybe comment on the fact that the only refugees we're taking are white people from South Africa? Don't you think that's bad that the president has used that authority that way? Right? Like, it's clearly not the purpose of the program.
They're just used to having like stuff handed to them for being white. Like, is that? Oh no, you're right. Actually, I hear it. That is a perfect American. The people who benefit most are those who make false asylum claims. Why would that be? And most of the claims are false. Well, how do you know that? Or who simply abscond after using the system to obtain entry and never show up for their court date.
I want to know who he's talking to. I mean, I know who he's talking to get this information. Right. It's some of the worst people. But I mean, just the idea that you just know that most of them are false. Like that's just, and also if you make a false claim, and it's pretty easy for the system to figure it out for the most part, you're barred from doing anything in the immigration system ever again. Like you're done. It's immigration death penalty.
And the conflating like a low acceptance rate with therefore it being not meritorious in any way, which is not necessarily true.
Also leaving out the 40% or whatever of pending cases when you're talking about the 13% denials, as we've established. Even I know that's not right. That's not how you do it.
What about geostrategy? None of the Cold War's conditions persist, none of them, we're no longer in an ideological war within the Western world. China and Russia are attractive models to nobody outside their borders.
China's doing pretty well in the world right now.
What are you talking about?
People are pretty happy with China.
Yeah, they're going to take over the fucking world. Rather than fighting tyranny by liberating its subjects, modern technology lets some foreign despotisms, mainly China, control their nationals inside our borders in ways that were Hollywood myth in the 60s and unthinkable in the 19th century.
So imagine what they could do to their dissidents inside their borders, Dan. Maybe we need an asylum system, protect people that could actually, I mean, it's just like, are you thinking, are you reading what you're writing? I mean, it's true. The Chinese government does have spies here that follow around the dissidents that are get asylum.
I know. I guess the point is like, what is the, again, as always.
What are you trying to say?
I'm almost always trying to say, why, what does that mean to him? Like, what is that argument? I actually don't know. What does that matter?
I don't either. Okay. Yeah, they can control, if they can control their nationals inside our borders, then, I mean, why are you saying they shouldn't get asylum? If they're that powerful.
Sorry. Because they're like sleeper agents. Like that must be it. Like they're going to be here. And then China is like controlling them to sabotage us. Is that what he's saying?
I don't think
that must be what he's saying.
I don't know.
Right? There's no other way, right? Because if they're able to control
rather than
their
fighting tyranny by liberating its subjects, modern technology lets despotisms control their subjects. I mean, he's saying that like I don't even know what the sentence is doing in here or what work he thinks it's doing.
I think he's saying Chinese people are more of a threat now because the technology allows China to control them from China. I think that's what he's saying. I don't know how else to read it. Rather than fighting tyranny by liberating its subjects, modern technology lets them, the main competing foreign ideology is radical Islam, but defeating its ideas requires an intra-Islamic debate in which the West has little role.
That's an incredible concession. And that's not what George W. Bush said, man.
Especially like we're literally at war with Iran right now. We have no part in that.
Remember all the rhetoric
world
about radical Islam, about how we have to fight it and defeat it, like, you know, on our terms. And now they're just saying, well, this is like an inter-Nicene thing. Let them figure it out.
Yeah. And don't you think having dissidents who are able to think and read and write and
speak out
work? Yeah, exactly. Like produce speech and thought abroad would be good for moderate Muslims in the world. Wouldn't you think that? There's no evidence that letting more Muslims from dysfunctional countries into ours will tip that debate in a positive direction. What? You just say that, I guess, but I bet there is a lot of evidence of that.
No,
if you're talking about countries, speaking, it's got to be true.
Right. If you're talking about countries that hate us and their people come over here and maybe do well here.
Experience and there's evidence that doing so will instead be a lever to undermine our values as it has been in Europe. Ideally, all these programs would be repealed and replaced with something more, because that worked so well with Obamacare, with something more modest and pro-American. There are also options for Congress to reform them rather than abolish them. Sure. Remain in Mexico should be law, not just presidential policy.
Again, requires Mexico to participate, so you can't force them to do that.
It should be our law that you do stuff for us.
Yeah, right.
TPS, once granted, should be much more strictly time limited. We should
can't do that by definition because TPS has to be there as long as the condition is in effect.
Yeah,
so like you can't time limit it.
We should join the Hey, how long is this earthquake going to take?
You guys going to wrap this war up already? Or?
Yeah. Stupid. We should join the many countries that disallow asylum claims from people who pass through multiple other nations along the way without seeking asylum there. Asylum claims found meritless should result in permanent bar from admission.
That's already
true.
Happening.
You just told me that.
Well, meritless being that it's based on lies. Like if it's just like you're only afraid to return because somebody's going to kill you because you owe them money, then that's not meritless.
Because like the wrong person's going to kill you rather than
for the wrong reason.
That's right. Rather than the person that the paperwork wants to kill you. And the criteria for asylum should be significantly tightened, especially by eliminating social group. Do you think a lot of them are that? Whatever. And non-state-backed persecution in ways
they're already tightening. I mean, again, the Trump administration is a model of how you can eliminate all of this stuff, right?
In ways that allow for far more claims to be resolved summarily without laborious fact-finding.
Stupid fact-finding.
So just being able to say, like, fuck all the domestic violence victims denied, basically.
And don't hear them out. Like, nobody needs fact-finding. Yeah.
That's what he wants. He wants to eliminate categories of people as broadly as possible. I'd love to see Americans welcome more legal immigrants. No, the fuck you wouldn't. Including these are illegal immigrants, right? Like if you have an assignment anyway, including those from poor and oppressed lands. You wouldn't want that. Shut up, dude. Like, how could you say that as your last paragraph?
Why even say this?
Yeah. I love to see Americans welcome more illegal immigrants, including those from poor and oppressed lands. Others disagree. Yeah, setting himself as I'm the pro-immigration guy here. But in selecting whom we accept, we are likelier to widen the welcome mat if we make American interests and values our compass.
What are you saying? What is your proposal? Because everything you've proposed is already being done.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Trump is already doing it. I don't know who he talked to. I mean, this guy knows nothing about asylum law, obviously, and he read a couple of articles or something. I really don't know. But this is the cover story for the premier leading conservative thought magazine in America right now. And we've just torn it apart.
Oh, boy. What an asshole. What a psychopathic fucking asshole. I can't imagine being that selfish and that heartless and putting in that much effort to write something in defense of a system that's already nothing. Like it's dismantled. It's already nothing. We're not letting anybody in. Except
Mr. Crank, I'm going to get up there and I guess I got to start writing about baseball now.
Yeah.
I have no choice.
God. All right, Matt. Well, thanks for finding that and telling us why it's so stupid in so many ways. That article made Tim Pool look smart. That's how bad that was. Yeah. But thanks, listeners, so much. Patrons as well. And catch that Lot Awful Movies. And also see you on Friday for some rapid response.
All right. See you later.
This has been Opening Arguments, produced by Thomas and Lydia Smith, with editing help from Peter Baird. The intro is by Thomas Smith. This outro is by Matt Cameron. Support the show at patreon.com/law. Contact us through Patreon or openarguments@gmail.com. Make sure to follow our Blue Sky @OpenArgs. But most of all, please share the show. Thanks for listening.